Good morning. So think about the cell phone that you have in your pocket. Think about the rings on your fingers, the food you had for breakfast, or the fuel that heats your house. All of these things have been touched or they're all substances that have been modified in some fashion through the work of chemists. So the question comes, how did these chemists learn their field? Well, somewhere in school, they were touched by a chemistry teacher. Well, as a former chemistry teacher, I was kind of interested in finding out about who my fellow chemistry teachers were in New York State, who they were, where they taught, what their experiences were, and also learn something about their students along the way. Well, one of the most interesting findings as I looked at the background of about 2,300 teachers is that about a quarter of them are the only ones teaching chemistry in their school. This was an emergent finding. This was not something that we had predicted. So what is the impact of having teachers who are working alone? Let's think about this for a moment. If you were in your workplace and you were focusing on whatever it was you were working on, and you were the only one there who understood the topic under study, there was no one to talk to about your questions. There was no one to turn to when you needed help. You were carrying the entire workload all by yourself. How likely is it that you would be comfortable in this situation? Would it impact your productivity? Would it impact the quality of work that you do? Would it impact your confidence? Would it make you want to leave the job? Would it make you want to possibly change your career? Well, all of these issues are serious factors for teachers. We know that people who are not happy in their position are likely to move, they are likely to leave their careers. And for teachers, especially teachers of chemistry, this is a significant issue because they are a diminishing number. Through the findings of my study, I hope to be able to come up with some kind of recommendations that will enable the science teacher, the chemistry teacher, just like that yellow tulip up there, all alone, to learn how to be successful and therefore also help them and their students actually learn to like chemistry and then learn ways in which they can use it in the future. Thank you very much. Good morning. So please, think about the smartphone that you have in your pocket. Think about the rings on your fingers, the food you had for breakfast this morning, the fuel that heats your home. All of these products are substances that have been modified or amplified through the action of chemists. So the question comes, where did these chemists learn their trade? Who taught them chemistry? Well, probably they had to start with somebody like me. I used to be a chemistry teacher, and so it was only natural for me to choose to study chemistry teachers as part of my thesis. So I wanted to know, who are these people? Who are the chemistry teachers? Where did they learn their trade? How well do they know it? Where do they teach? How well do their students do? All of these questions. So I was able to use resources available from the state and found about 2,300 teachers in New York State were teaching Regents level or college prep chemistry. I wanted to know more about them. And as I delved into the data, I found that about 1/4 of these teachers were teaching as the only chemistry teacher in their building. That's pretty amazing because these people were isolated, kind of like that yellow tulip and that flower in that picture up there. They were all alone, surrounded by other teachers, but nonetheless the only one teaching chemistry. Now, why is this important? When you close the door of your classroom, you're teaching by yourself anyway. Well, think about it. If you were in a workplace where you were the only person with an expertise, you would have nobody to go to talk about your questions, nobody to discuss your findings, nobody to help with the workload. How happy would you be in that job? Would you be likely to stay there very long? Would you have a lot of productivity? What about the quality of your work? Would you think about leaving the job, possibly leaving the career? Well, the analogy holds for chemistry teachers. Those who are working in isolated situations are less likely to stay where they are. They are either more likely to leave teaching, or they are likely to go to another building where they're not likely to be isolated. This is a problem because chemistry teachers as a whole are a dying breed, or shouldn't phrase it quite like that, but they're diminishing, and we definitely need quality people to get chemistry off that killer course list. We want people who can actually make it exciting for the students. So once we understand more about these teachers, these isolated teachers and what they face, we can hopefully strengthen them, make them better teachers and able to handle the isolation like that yellow flower up there, to blossom even under difficult circumstances. Thank you.
Linda Padwa,